Evening message on May 6, 2022. Disregard by itself. Disregard from the disregard itself. Nothing is within the disregard itself. Let's purify simultaneously. Don't just use the mind only. Otherwise, there will be only karma forming up. Let's purify it simultaneously. Whatever the mind that is used, purify it at the same time. Disregard from itself. The disregard is not anything, is not the mind. The disregard is not itself. By itself, disregard from itself. Uninvolved with the disregard itself. Disregard is uninvolved with itself. That is the essence of the cutting within the cutting itself. Let's conclude through this essence. Don't let there be only the mind, using only the mind. Otherwise, there are only just karma and karmic difficulties. Let's purify through the extinction simultaneously. Let's make a conclusion of the essence of the enlightenment simultaneously. Disregard from itself. Disregard even from the disregard itself. Disregard from itself, by itself. The disregard is not about anything within itself. We're with it. Enable to purify the disregard. That means nothing is within the disregard itself, uninvolved with the disregard itself. Nothing within the disregard itself. That is enabled to purify the purification itself. Uninvolved even with the disregard itself. With this, it will be unwinding. There will be an unwinding from all the determination and projection of the mind, which is a lot. It will be released when there is only intentions of karma, determination and projection of karma. When it's a lot, it will be released. This will be released out from such projection of the mind and determination of the mind. Enable it. Those who already disregard, then uninvolved with it furthermore. But those who are still restless, let there be disregarding. If still a lot of straying mind, disregard. on its own, disregard.
ไม่แบบไม่เกี่ยวกับไม่เอง
Disregard in the way that has nothing to do with itself.
มันไม่มีเยอะแต่สามารถ
There's not much, but is enabled to give ending for samsara. It can be helping ending for samsara. All the circling within body, mind, feelings, thoughts, recalls, looking, seeing, and knowing. All the circling within the living, the lifestyles, which is called internal samsara. In other words, is called personal samsara of everyone, which is circling within oneself, is the internal samsara. Let it be ended, enable it. Then it will cease the circling. Constantly disregard from itself. Disregard even from the disregard itself. Disregard that is not relevant to itself. Go ahead. This will give ending the circling delusively within the body and the mind. Enable it. If it's all the same, it will end, helping to end samsara at large. The anupāp can be helpful to give ending for all. The blessing from all Buddhas already helping towards ending greatly is uncountable already. However, there are great numbers of the beings in the samsara, the beings on the land, on the earth, under the earth, above, even like tiny beings. Some are visible, some are not. Samsara is in great numbers. However, the Buddhas and Maharami has helped ends for all beings uncountably. Disregard from itself all the same. Disregard even from the disregard itself. Don't be obsessed with the mind in this way and that way only. Don't be obsessed to use the mind only. Let's enable to purify the mind as well, simultaneously. Just form it up a tiny bit, but not much with the mind. To be carried away with the mind is not good. Let's purify simultaneously, make a conclusion to purify it simultaneously. Disregard from itself. The recalls that purify through the extinction within itself, cut through itself. The reminder that purifies itself, which cuts through itself. Go ahead. Disregard even from the disregard itself. Let's recall it. This recall will purify itself, will cut through itself. The recall that purifies itself, cuts through itself. disregard even from the disregard itself continuously, simultaneously, within and without. All the senses and sense perceptions, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body and mind already exist. It's already linking with the samsara at large. Let's make a conclusion well to purify it. All the looking, seeing and knowing already exist. Purify it at the same time, simultaneously. Disregard even from the disregard itself simultaneously with looking, seeing and knowing that already exist. Then it will purify through the extinction, through the emptiness simultaneously. Don't let there be only delusion within the existence. Don't grab the existence. The disregard is not relevant to itself. Go ahead. The disregard that is already there. Let there be the great compassion to purify boundlessly for samsara. Disregard all the same. Go ahead. The disregard is not about anything within itself. The sentence that gives ending within itself, the terminologies that purifies itself, the terminology that purify and cut through itself. Constantly disregard from itself, it will cut off the circling within the mind for the karmic difficulties of the mind. All the attributes of the mind will be decreasing automatically. If there's a lot within the mind, the circling within samsara, within the knowing will be still a lot of circling. If the disregard enable to unroll with itself, the cycle of the circling within the mind will be ceased. One zone, uninvolved even within the uninvolvement itself. It's not about anything within the uninvolved itself. Discard the discarding self constantly. The disregard has nothing to do with itself. Discard the discard itself continuously.
ที่ไม่เกี่ยวอยู่แล้วก็ไม่
The
ใช่อะไร
uninvolved
ไม่
that
เกี่ย
is
วเลย
already
ลูก
there.
นะลูก
Just
เลยนะ
give no significance to
ที่
it
ไหม้
right
อยู่แล้ว
away
ก็ไม่
all
ใช่
at
อะไร
once.
ไหม้ไปเลย
The
รวดเดียว
disregard that is already there. Just give no significance to it all at once. Let's purify instantaneously without traces right away.
ล้างตัวผู้ติด
Purify
ผู้ติดนิยมในอะไรใน
the
จิตใจ
one
ลูก
who is
ล้างไป
attached
เล
or
ย
detached or that belief values. Just purify it instantly.
ถ้าไหม้อยู่แล้วนี่ลูกก็ไม่
The
ใช่อะไร
disregard
ไหม้
that is
ไปเลย
already there. Just give no significance to it right away.
คลายไม่เอาคลายเอง
The unwinding that doesn't
คลาย
grab
ไม่เอา
itself.
คลายเอง
Doesn't grab itself. This unwinding.
ไม่เอาไม่เอง
The disregard doesn't grasp itself.
ไม่เกี่ยวก็ไม่เอากันไม่
The
เกี่ยวเอง
uninvolved doesn't grasp itself.
ไม่เอาไม่เอง
The disregard doesn't take in itself.
ไม่เกี่ยวไม่กระทั่งไม่เกี่
The
ยวเอง
uninvolved, even within the uninvolved itself.
แอบนิ่งนะแอบนิ่งนิดแอบเฉยหน่อย
Don't be discreetly falling in stillness. This is unbearable. Disperse it in a way that doesn't grab itself. Otherwise, there will be a lot of Vedana. Awaken out. Brighten out. Everything is brightening. Everything is awakening. This will purify all the composture of the mind. That is like composing the anicca and dukkha. The body-mind elements are anicca. Why composing it? Disperse it. That means awaken out. Everything is awakened. Everything is brightened.
มีที่สุดไม่มีประมาณนี้สิ
Boundlessly.
มีขอบเขตนะ
Everything is boundless. Don't fall in the stillness. It's not helpful at all. Being obsessed to receive the visitors, the Vedana hindrances. That is the dimensions of the surroundings, realms of existence. You have to purify the reception of all beings, the visitors. It's not about anything within the disregarding itself. May everything be ahosi, ahosi, ahosi. The discards itself. Don't be specific with anything within just looking, seeing and knowing, within just the body and the mind. Don't maintain and cling to anything whatsoever. The disregard is not relevant to itself. The disregard is uninvolved with itself. Well with it. The opening has nothing to do with itself. Opening eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body and mind. Just don't relate to it. Then it will be boundless. Don't be just about opening or closing. The disregard is not relevant to itself. The awakening is uninvolved with itself. The brightening is uninvolved with itself. The clear mind is uninvolved with itself. Uninvolved is uninvolved with itself. This will not be only about clinging or sinking within any states of mind, wherever it is. This will be boundless. The uninvolved is not about anything within itself. It will be without flaw. The essence of cutting deluded knowing totally. The essence of the enlightenment. Cutting within the cutting itself. Helping samsara cutting simultaneously. Cut through within and without simultaneously within one sentence. Disregard from itself. The disregard is not about anything within itself. The disregard in the way that is not about anything within itself. Go beyond the eyes, ears, knowing, seeing. The disregard is not about anything within itself. Well with it. No is not even know itself. Nothing is within know itself. If you have to recall it by yourself, don't know what you are recalling. Otherwise, you're gonna recall anything whatsoever. You need to listen to the conclusion constantly. Your own recalling could be something else. It's gonna be just deepening in the circling within itself. The recall that cuts through itself, that purifies itself, that gives extinction in itself, that sees itself. Well with that. Each sentence that is given well to use it. Disregard, even from the disregard itself, all the same. Like this. Nothing is within the disregard itself. Like this.
มีกรุณาหน่อยสิ
Just have some compassion,
มหากรุณาหน่อยในการ
some compassion,
ช่วยพร้อมๆ
great
ไป
compassion to help end altogether in one
เดียว
sentence,
นั่นเลยในดำริเดียวนั่นเลย
in one form of sentence.
กล้าหน่อยสิ
Be bold.
มัวแต่มาทรงเสียดง
Don't be obsessed to regret the mind in this way and that way, on and on. Disregard even from the disregard itself simultaneously with all and everything, deliberately.
มอบเนื้อหาให้มัน
Giving the essence of cutting within the cutting itself,
ช่วยพร้อมไปเลย
the cutting as helping and cutting deluded
ยิ่ง
knowing
กว่าการสละ
is
สละใจ
at once. Be bold. Be bold to give up the mind and the heart. Don't regret the circling, to be stuck with just the mind in this way and that way. For what? Everything is just anicca and dukkha. Whatsoever is not about anything within itself. Whatsoever is not about anything within suchness itself. มันยิ่งกว่าใจใหญ่ Go beyond big heart.
ไม่ก็ไม่ใช่ไม่เอง
The disregard is not itself. Constantly disregard from itself. Just recall it. Disregard from itself. The eyes and ears that already opened, it will be balanced with the essence of the disregarding, held through the extinction and ceasing, ending, as helping to end the circling mind altogether, cut through the circling cycle altogether. If unable to give no significance to the disregarding, just go according to that. Go ahead with it. Nothing is within the disregarding. Continue onwards as such. That's the true disregarding. The disregarding that is not about anything within itself. Uninvolve the unmovement itself. Don't be obsessed to unvolve, to attempt to unvolve in this way and that way, on and on. Uninvolve even within the uninvolved itself. Uninvolve even within the uninvolvement itself. enable to purify even the purification itself, even the purifier itself. The disregard purifies itself. That is the purification that purifies itself. The uninvolved purifies itself. That's the purifying that purifies the purification itself. No fixation to even the non-fixation itself. No significance within the awakening itself for everything. The words, everything is awakened, means that nothing is within the awakening itself. It's not significant in itself. With these, it will be without flaw and boundless. It's not just limited to awakening or not awakening, brightening or not brightening. Nothing is within the awakening itself. Nothing is within the brightening itself. Let's proceed as such altogether. The brightening is not relevant to itself. This is beyond brightening, beyond brightening. The stillness is not relevant to itself. If you are in it, then just uninvolved with it, then you will not be sinking in it. The indifference also not relevant to itself, so that you not be drowned in the stillness or indifference. That is all about realm of existence. It's all about suffering. The disregard is not itself. The disregard is not relevant to itself. This is all about the unwinding that discards itself, the putting down that doesn't grab itself. This is all about the detachment that doesn't grab itself. Nothing is within the detachment itself. Proceed all together simultaneously with blessing, ending as purifying for samsara. Continue to give as such. It will be by the foundation that is given totally. If you are not diligently forming up to bless samsara continuously, the cycle of purification for oneself will be less. There will be disturbance within oneself on and on. Whatever that is fixated, maintained, which has been done since the past, this is all the disturbance within itself, totally. Just the mind that and its significance to itself, that is already a burden. If it's not beyond the mind,
จิตกับอะไรในจิต
just about the mind and significance in itself is so much this
แล้ววนหมกมุ่น
burden, circling, preoccupied, engrossed. If unable to discard the discard itself, unable to discard the uninvolved, then there's still difficulties. It's just like there's not yet ending the mind, not yet ending the karmic difficulties. If unable to discard the uninvolved or the disregarding itself, there's still remaining the difficulties. Uninvolved is not about anything within itself right away. The disregard is not about anything right away. This will end the difficulties. Difficulties within the mind and the heart will end. Not circling with anything. If there is still circling, there will still remaining the difficulties. If unable to discard the disregarding and the uninvolved, nothing is within the disregard itself or the uninvolved itself. The uninvolved doesn't grasp itself. The disregard doesn't take in itself. These will be no more circling to create difficulties there. If there's still a lot of the mind in this way and that way whatsoever, still there are difficulties. Therefore, use disregard even from the disregard itself for everything. Don't be obsessed with reasons, with cause and effects. There is no need to use opinions and meanings. Therefore, use disregard even from the disregard itself, all the same with everything. With everything. There is no need to be engrossed with reasons, searching for reasons, cause or effects. There is no need to be obsessed with making the mind in this way or that way, according to one's own belief values or others. Disregard even from the disregard itself for all and everything as such. Cutting within the cutting itself, ceasing within the ceasing itself, extinction within the extinction itself. Disregard from the disregard itself as such, all the same with everything. That is purifying the reasons, cause and effects right away. Cut through the circling within reasons, causes and effects right away. There is no need to have reasons in whatever ways. Cut through the circling within mindfulness or concentration, or that delusion to own mindfulness concentration. Cut through owning within contemplation, within looking, seeing and perceptions. Then it will not be about anything and anything all the same for everything. With this, it has to be disregard even from the disregard itself. All the same with everything, it will cease all the circling within the body, mind, elements and Dharma, not circling. Not becoming samsara with it, not circling with it. Go ahead simultaneously and all the same disregard even from the disregard itself, helping to end the circling altogether. Don't be obsessed to complete with each other to give meanings and opinions. Don't be obsessed to deludedly giving opinions and meanings in this way and that way, leading one another to circle within samsara of titi. Samsara of titi, opinions and meanings. If not disregarding, there's no ending, there's no ceasing. Disregard, even from the disregard itself, all the same with everything. With this, it will help one another towards ending and ceasing. Form up the thought of the disregard, even from the disregard itself. Purify constantly. Simultaneously, it will be purification of the extinction that is given constantly. The anupap of giving ending will continue onwards. There is no encouragement for here or there, adding more on top of anything. Not adding more on top of anything. There is no need to add more on top of the body and the mind. There is no need to add more of thoughts, recalls, titi, or whatsoever. The existence already having the vibhak greatly already, there is no need to add more on top of it. Circling, circling, circling on and on and on and on. There is no need to be considerate with anything. Let's deliberate, cut through onwards. Disregard, even from the disregard itself, all the same. There is no need to considerate, to be considerate. Purify onwards through the extinction. Then it will be truly helping for one another, ending as helping for one another, ending samsara itself. There is no need to regret the beingness of any states of mind at all, any states or how it is. There is no need to regret. No need to regret any beingness of any states of mind. Disregard, even from the disregard itself, absolutely. Deliberate, cut through within itself, cut through itself, absolutely. Together with compassion and great compassion, simultaneously with all things. Internally and externally is concluded towards ending simultaneously. If each one fall in stillness, it will be a lot of karmic difficulties being sunken in it. Like that is karmic difficulties. May all groups of beings in the lower realms be forgiven. Ahosi, Ahosi, Ahosi. Samsara of karmic difficulties. May it be forgiven. Ahosi, Ahosi, Ahosi. May all come up in the form up of Dharma to be fixated in it. May it be forgiven. Ahosi, Ahosi, Ahosi.